Let's take a look at some of the functions that we can perform in editing lines with AutoCAD Plant P&ID features. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this line right here and see what happens whenever we select it. You're going to see some grips come up. And with these grips, that's going to allow you to make some moves here. So if you take this diamond shaped grip and you move it up, now notice you can either do this one of two ways. You can just drag and drop, or you could actually use your dynamic input to put in a distance as well as an angle that you want to move that. And if you notice, corner was automatically created here. If you think that corner is a little too short, you can also make a parallel movement with this one. We'll just drag this one over. Try not to drop it as I just did. And you'll see that you can create that corner like that or drag it even further. If you want to shorten this up or this distance up, you can also create another corner like that. So you can do quite a few movements here just using those. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to draw another quick line right here. And when I do that, I'm going to select this line and you'll see that I have a grip at the end of the line. Now with this one, I can use that to continue, or I could actually shorten that line with that as well. Once again, you can still use the dynamic grips. You can put in a specific distance and angle, but you can use this to shorten or lengthen the line. So that's also another convenient thing that you can have, just using grips to move the line back and forth. And of course, if it's a line just like this, which is not connected, you can just move it parallel that way or that way. Once again, noting that you can do it with the dynamic input, with a distance and an angle, or either one that you wish to use. We can also access various properties by just doing a simple right click on an existing line. We'll go ahead here and we'll select the properties of this line. Of course, you also have your quick properties here. Your quick properties are going to give you a few short properties there. But in most cases, if you're using the properties, you're probably going to want to go ahead to the full property panel. You'll see that you can change things such as the color of the line would be. You could change its line type. A lot of these are on drop downs. You can change what layer it's going to be on. You can even change the tag that it's going to be given from here. If you click this little tool right here, it's going to take you back into the box where you can assign a tag to. Let's say if you needed to change the spec of that, and you just want to change that to a simple carbon steel 150. You can change the pipeline service. Any changes that you make will be reflected there. Okay, so you could also put in a different size if you wish. So you have many things that you can change from the property panels as well. Let's take a look at what we've changed here, and you'll see that this tag has been changed accordingly to the lines or the things that we have changed within the properties. Another right-click option that we have with our P&ID program is the schematic line edit. So let's go ahead and hover over one of these lines that we have here and give it a right click, and we'll go into the schematic line edit. We'll try this one that takes a line away from a component. We'll choose detach from components, and you'll see that it's asking you to pick the endpoint of a schematic line that you want to detach. So I'm going to go ahead to right here using my snaps. I'm going to click on the end of this line, which is connected to a heat exchanger. And I'll go ahead and I'll choose that. Now, if you hover over that line, you'll see that it has been disconnected from the heat exchanger. Now, we can do a right click and repeat the schematic line edit. Pick the line that we want to edit, and then say that we want to attach it. And then all we have to do is pick the component that we want to attach to and pick the endpoint. And then if we hover over this line, you're going to see that it is now connected to this heat exchanger. And you'll see that those numbers match. Perhaps you needed to place a gap within a schematic line. You also have an option for doing that from your schematic line edit. and we'll go ahead and we'll add a gap. It's pretty simple. What you have here is a nearest snap comes up, and then you just move it along. Now notice you can use your dynamic input here to be able to determine the size of the gap. And then once you do that, you'll see that you have a symbol for that. Now, if I right click here, I can repeat this function. We don't always have to hover over the line to do it. I'll just go ahead and repeat the schematic line edit, and I'll pick the schematic line in which I want to edit, and then I'm going to ungap it. Now you'll see it's asking me to give the gap symbol, and once I do that, the line is ungapped. Now, if you look here, we have a pump that's kind of in the way of a line, and that line does not need to go into that pump, but should go around it. So one of the things that we can use here would be called a corner. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our schematic line edit. This time, let's go ahead and type this in, since just to remind us that we can type our commands in as well as choose them. We'll go ahead and we'll pick the schematic line edit that, the schematic line that we want to edit. It's starting to be a tongue twister there. And we'll go ahead and we'll add a corner from the drop-down menu that we have. So it says select a point that you want to put the corner, start it off as. We'll use our nearest snap to do that. We'll kind of pick the second corner. We'll try to go above the pump. And then we'll drag out the direction that we want the line to continue in. And you'll see that we have successfully driven a corner around this piece of equipment. Another feature that we're able to do with our right-click link going to our schematic line edit is that we can link and unlink pipelines. Let's say that we want to link this line here to this one here. If we go ahead and continue with our schematic line edit, and we choose link, we'll be prompted to pick the schematic line that we'd like to link to. So I'll go ahead and select that. We do get a warning asking if we do want to continue that, and we say yes. And if you notice, that information automatically changed to this information here. Now let's go ahead and reverse the process. We'll go back to schematic line edit, and we will unlink them, and it's going to say schematic line will be unlinked from it. Continue. Yes, we do. And if you notice, we're back to our original state. Flow change is another option that we can change within P&ID. We can do that through the schematic line edit as well. We'll go ahead and we will right click on here and invoke our schematic line edit, and we will do a reverse flow. If you notice, things are flowing from the vessel right now, but when we choose the reverse flow, you'll see that things are going towards the vessel. P&ID is still AutoCAD, so a lot of your AutoCAD commands will work within P&ID. Let's do a quick demo with using trim. We'll just go ahead and type trim into our command line. Of course, you can always change your workspace and access those drawing tools, but sometimes it's a little quicker just to go into the command line. We'll go ahead and we'll use this as a boundary, and we'll choose this as the line that we want to trim, and that has been trimmed off. If we had a couple of lines, one going this way, and let's see, and we wanted to try our extend function, we'll go ahead and pick this one as our boundary and this as the line that we want to extend, and you'll see those work as well. Feel free to try with other AutoCAD functions or commands as well.